Hey everybody, and welcome to Broomtown Land. Today I want to show you how we build our brace posts. These keep tension on the wire as the grapes grow and they get heavier. They'll tend to pull down. And with brace posts with tensioners, you can maintain that tension. You can keep them straight. So enjoy. Hey, I wanted to show you real quick how I do these, kind of mock up how they're done. We're putting in the new arbors for the muscadines, and this is the tensioner that keeps the posts straight, and I'll show you how I do those. All right, the first thing I do is take the wire, and this is that high tensile steel wire that's it's wonderful because it doesn't do a lot of things. It doesn't stretch out of proportion, but it's awkward to work with because it's kind of like a slinky. If you let go of it, that'll just unwind into a mess. So I use one of these little, I've only ever heard them called spinning jennies before, to keep control of the wire. My measuring for this is pretty rudimentary. I kind of go with, length of my arm, and that's where we start, is with a piece of wire. All right, I kind of measure against the ones that I've already done, basically because I just think they look better if they, kind of match. I know it's not perfect and they're not going to be exact, but when you look down the row, it's kind of nice if they match. I guess that's OCDism, but I like the way it looks. First one of these I did on the post outside, and this is easier with a vise. And this stuff's not impossible, but it's nicer to have it where it'll bend in there. And by coincidence, this dimension is the exact dimension of the face of one of those T-posts. So I've been using this as my measurement. I'm sure there's 1,000 better ways to do this, but this is the way it's worked for me today. And I just kind of mark it with my marker because I'm not that good at eyeing it. And I put that bend in, look for my mark, and lay it over. And that one's bent. And that's about the distance of a T-post. All right, then I come back over to one of my examples, lay it up, get this measurement right here. So since I'm measuring all these with each other, my initial measurement of arm length kind of really doesn't matter. If I have extra, I'll cut it off, and if I have, if it's too short, so far it hasn't been too short, but if it's too short, I'll throw it away and start another one. So hang on one second, I'll be right back. All right, the next thing is this, it's called a tensioner. I only ever use these for electric fences, but I've seen a lot of people use them for this application when you're pulling them, pulling on a post. It's almost like an individual come along for each post. And I don't over tighten it. That's pretty cheap metal, but I just slide it in there to my mark. And this wire is hard to bend, so you bend it in half and then wrap it on itself. Like I said, you don't have to do this here, but I found this easier than doing it, on the ground, on your hands and knees or kneeling, you don't get the same leverage. And that's it, one down. All right, I'm gonna measure because I want them all to come off, basically the same place. That's about 58. So we'll come back over to this other pole and measure 58. And then when we're finished with this, when we're finished, we'll take the chainsaw and cut them all off at the same height. Make it look nicer. Okay, 58. All right, I found this is the perfect little tool to put this knot. And I had the wire sliding down on me, and I figured when it got under a lot of stress, it would even do it worse. So I got my little scale chainsaw. So this thing's pretty handy. I'm not trying to cut the post down or anything. I'm just putting a little bitty notched ledge for the wire to ride in so it doesn't move. And I'll staple it also. All right, I'm just cutting the wire that I'm gonna put on the top part of the tensioner. And there's no real, once I do 30 of these, I'll get a better idea of the exact measurement. But right now, it's okay to have a little too much than not enough. I get the wire and a couple of staples to hold it. So like I said, once I've done a few, then I'll get better. Plenty. All right. All right. Now I'm down here, and I'm trying to get as tight of a bite on that post as I can. And I'll be back when there's tension on it. It'll be easier to wrap. Maybe famous word. But Cindy, zoom in here and look at these. These things are neat. They got a hole for the wire, and the way they work is they spin, and as they spin, it tightens the wire. So it's handy. Okay, all right, I'm gonna cut the extra out. Hope I didn't cut too much. Put that back in the tensioner. I guess you can see that. Pull it up just a little so that it'll start wrapping. And I'll probably come back with my clippers and clip that little bite off. All right, we'll use our little wrench and Funny how this wire works differently than a lot of wires, and it's simply because of the I don't know if it's density or whatever, the tensile strength. It's hard to bend. And, it's hard to work with, but it stays forever, and I don't guess it ever rusts. Kind of wiggle that to the middle, and that probably is overkill to add staples, but you know, it'd probably ride in that groove for the rest of eternity. But I'm gonna put staples on it, I guess, just out of habit. But there's gonna be a lot of weight on this when the grapes get started. I'd rather do it like this now than have to come back and redo it. All right, okay, this one's pretty much done. I tightened it, not the final tighten, but enough to put the tension on it so you can wrap them. And once I've got them wrapped just what I want, I'll cut the tabs off so you don't get hurt. So a tractor tire don't rub up against that one. I'll cut that off. But before I get shamed all over the internet with my bent up staples, those are in knots. And these posts are tight. Some of these posts, I knew that I was going to eventually do this, and when we built the fence around the house, I had posts left over, and so they've been sitting for about 6 years in the barn, and they're good and dry, and they're good and hard, and it's about like driving staples into concrete, which is good once they're done. But that's how I do my braces. I'm sure everybody's got different ways, and you can put in the comments if you think your way is better than mine, but we'll see how this goes. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you would, take a second to hit the subscribe button for us. It helps us a lot. I appreciate it.